welcome to Half the Battle. And we're back to the comic this week with the second part of our story that's set in 1980s Afghanistan.
And this issue is called Walls of Death.
Clyde, you're on standby.
In our last exciting and awkward issue, the Joes and their Russian equivalent, the October Guard, were fighting over a crashed experimental Russian spy plane that had gone down over Afghanistan. Before their fight could get resolved, however, they were both ambushed by Cobra, who took them all prisoner. The issue ended with Cobra Commander ordering their execution. The cover for this issue depicts Stalker and Colonel Brekov standing back-to-back fighting Cobras, signifying their newfound unity. The opening splash page has Cobra Commander monologuing about his great plan to let the Joes and the Russians duke it out over the spy plane, so then, when they're at their weakest, he can come in and crush them both.
And of course, here he makes the mistake that all evil overlords seem to make. He doesn't shoot them right away.
And no, instead he departs, taking the spy plane and all of his troops with him. And he leaves just two freaking guys, to finish off his captives. And even those two, named Rattler and Copperhead, take their sweet-ass time before actually getting down to killing. Enough time, in fact, for Clutch to use a secret remote control that he uses to fire his guns that are on the Jeep, blowing them away.
Hey, I think they just killed Copperhead. Again.
Well, yes and no. This guy just got a random snake name for this issue only. The real Copperhead didn't exist yet at this point in the toy line. Neither did the Rattler, as a matter of fact. Hence why the other red shirt has that code name. Anyway, since Cobra now has the spy plane, the Joes and the Russians don't see any reason to fight each other, and they decide to team up. At least until they can take back the plane. Then all bets are off. And so an uneasy alliance is formed, much to the chagrin of Scarlet. "You're all nuts! You can't trust these lousy Reds!"
It's funny 'cause she has red hair.
Since there's a locator beacon in the transport carrying the plane, our heroes can follow it, and it takes them out of Afghanistan.
Phew, I'm glad we got through that without any more awkwardness. Now let's see, where are they actually headed to?
We crossed the Iran border 10 minutes ago.
Oh, good. That's much less controversial.
They run into an Iranian border patrol straight away, and we get these gems. "What are you gonna do? Promise to give the Shah back? How about asking for room and board at the embassy?"
Ha, ha, ha.
Okay, fine. The only reason I don't find it that funny is because, well, Argo came out not too long ago. Moving on. They tear through the Iranians easily enough, and, well, I have the feeling this was some kind of revenge wish fulfillment, really. Anyway, they find Cobra's secret bunker. It appears to consist of nothing but solid wall, so Stalker decides to get a closer look, using a brand new toy, piece of combat equipment, the Jump Jet, where JUMP stands for Jet Unit Mobile Propulsion.
So, it's a jet. Okay, that's like an ATM machine, I suppose.
Meanwhile, inside, Cobra Commander is giving a speech celebrating their great victory, when he's interrupted because they've spotted the Joes. Cobra Commander isn't too worried, it seems, and he orders his troops to battle stations, again with the Nazi imagery. You know, I'm glad they started to tone down this kind of crap as time went on, because otherwise, quite frankly, Serpentor might have been a straight-up clone of Hitler. Anyway, Stalker tells the others that he spotted a strange pattern on the roof. They figure that it's an alarm system they can easily jam. They decide to split up. Two teams will try to find their way in from the ground, while one team will enter from the roof, while Clutch is staying outside for backup. As the Joe's ground team approaches, a hole just happens to open up in the bunker. It's obviously a trap, but they need to get in, so they'll use it anyway.
What is it with people in these stories always walking into a known trap? There are other options, you know.
The team on the roof, meanwhile, didn't suspect the trap. Well, not until it was too late anyway, when they realize the pattern on the roof resembles that of a hot plate, and they are promptly electrocuted.
Huh, lucky for Cobra they weren't wearing shoes with rubber soles.
Spotting this, Clutch warns the others that something strange is going on up on the roof, while still finding some time to make a sexist remark about Scarlet powdering her nose in his rearview mirror, but he gets cut off. The Joes inside get the trap that they voluntarily walked into sprung on them, first by having red pikes come out of the wall to impale them, then by having a large domino almost fall on them? That makes an explosion sound when it lands for some reason? And finally, by flooding the corridor they're in with water? Okay, how the hell did they get that much water, especially to use in a trap, when, I remind you, we're in the middle of the freaking desert?
From this and last week's episode, I can safely say that Cobra Commander sure loves his convoluted traps.
And also, they love killing Copperhead. The final trap is a bunch of live cobras, and at least now they're admitting that they're ripping off Indiana Jones. This looks like a bit they copped from Steven Spielberg. Since Cobra Commander seems to have finally run out of traps, he just sends a bunch of cannon fodder to try and stop the Joes. Cannon fodder that apparently doesn't know the meaning of the term run away, as they're taken out with a single grenade. So now the Joes are finally near the end zone, and they're using C4 to blow up the doors to the inner sanctum. They're finally at the prize! Only the October Guard has somehow gotten there first and are pointing their guns at them. Well, so much for the Alliance. And how did they get there? Well, you see, while the Joes were busy playing obstacle course, the Russians just captured the guard and had him lead them past all the traps.
Reminds me of that urban legend of the Russians using a pencil to ride in outer space, while the Americans did it the hard way.
Brekov asserts that Cobra Commander has fled before the might of the great Russian or Soviet blah 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 blah, but before he can get his monologue truly on, Cobra Commander interrupts him, saying that he's got them surrounded. Again.
Man, these guys must be getting one hell of a deja vu.
As the commander is about to personally execute them, all of a sudden a lone Cobra trooper comes up from behind and pistol whips him. And it turns out this was Clutch all along. With the commander as a hostage, the Joes are free to make a break for it, much to the chagrin of the October Guard. I cannot allow that, Amerikansky. With Cobra Commander as a hostage, you will surely succeed, and that is unacceptable. What are you gonna do about it?
Alright, pop quiz. Airport. Gunman with one hostage. He's using her for cover. He's almost to a plane. You're 100 feet away.
What do you think? Shoot the hostage.
Yep, shoot the hostage.
Well, Cobra Commander is dead. I guess that's it for this series. Join me next week when I'll begin my Smurfs retrospective.
No, of course not. You see, it turns out that the guy they shot was a decoy, with a speaker hiding under his shirt.
But if that's the case, then why didn't the Cobra troopers blow them away the minute they took the hostage? Didn't they even know that he was a double?
Anyway, at this point, Cobra Commander, as he is wont to do, appears on a giant screen to gloat. But since we're already far over our monologuing quota for the day, the Joes just ignore him and make their getaway in the confusion, leaving the October Guard and Cobra behind to duke it out. But there's one question left unanswered. Where the hell did Clutch come from anyway? Well, the sexist bit about Scarlet and the rearview mirror, that was actually a clue, as he had spotted a Cobra sneaking up on him in that mirror, and he used a microphone to take him out and steal his uniform.
And that's pretty much the comic for today. Except the ending. The goddamn ending.
Hope you brought a shovel, 'cause here comes the bullcrap. You see, once the Joes get back to base, all happy and proud that they completed their mission and didn't get killed, Hawk coolly informs them that the real spy plane was airlifted out yesterday, and they were just a diversion.
What a douche.
Yeah, remember that bit in the first part where we see Hawk being a Cobra spy? All part of the plan. And so the comic ends with Hawk dryly saying, "Excellent work, team. Excellent."
Yeah, too bad that they forgot to draw the actual last panel of the comic. It's the one where the entire Joe team beats the ever-loving crap out of their commanding officer.
So here's my conclusion. First of all, I'm glad we didn't have to deal with the Afghan rebels again, but instead we got the Iranians. And like I said in the review, it's only Argo coming out not too long ago that put the whole Iran hostage situation back in the forefront, making this issue a little awkward, but nowhere near as much as the last issue.
The issue itself was excellent and showed us a few important things.
It established the October Guard as a viable competitor for G.I. Joe, and they're even shown to be smarter on occasion. It also shows the G.I. Joe team is capable of having a darker side, with Hawk having no problem putting his team in harm's way for a simple diversion.
Even though I'm not really a fan of the whole "it was all a ruse" plot device.
We also saw that the Joe team had no problem whatsoever leaving the October Guard behind to fight Cobra, without knowing if they'd be able to make it out alive, even with Dinah pleading to take him with him.
Overall, this part 2 is a good story that I can recommend you check out. Well, that's it for this week. See you later, everybody!
And your bollocks did up good, you did.
Well, Cobra Commander is dead, so I guess that's it for this series. Join me next week as I'll begin my Smurfs Join me next week when I'll begin my Smurfs I can't say this. Smurfs retrospective. Smurfs retrospective. Smurfs retrospective. Word lost all meaning now. Shut up. Shh. I'm arguing with my heater.